NFL Combine today, actually, Jordan Addison spoke and turned all heads when, first off, it was a pretty good crowd around Jordan Addison. A lot of attention for this guy. He's probably going to be the first, maybe the second wide receiver off the board come April. When asked about Kenny Pickett, he gave raving reviews about how close they are, said that they just talked the other day about the Combine, and Kenny gave him some advice, said that he loves the Steelers, and he met with the Steelers, gave a good review on Mike Tomlin, and then when he was asked about a reunion with Kenny Pickett, he said it would be very easy transition, and he finished it with, "Come get me." I mean, that says everything you need to know about how Jordan Addison feels about the NFL draft. What'd you take away from it?
Yeah, it couldn't have been more plain. He wants to play with Kenny Pickett. And it's not all that surprising given the success they had at Pitt for a couple of years, not just 1 year. But yeah, he couldn't have been more plain. He raved about Kenny's confidence, his physical abilities, his leadership abilities too. He said that Kenny and him had also been training, I think, in the same city in Florida.
Well, Kenny was down there with the Steelers guys, with George Pickens and Deontay and them, and then I think Addison was training down there as well. I don't think they crossed paths. I think they just spoke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But still, I mean, it almost seems too out. This was the joke of ever since the Steelers got eliminated or their season ended. People were just making mock drafts with all of Kenny's old teammates from Pitt. But this one, it has some juice behind it, and it started to make sense. It's just a matter of where he go. Is that 32nd pick going to be? Is he going to be around for that 32nd pick? And if
is he going to be around for the 17th pick? And if he is around for the 17th pick, how impressed was? I think the thing here is Omar Khan said on Tuesday that he pretty much completely blew him off. Jordan Addison's a very good player. That's all he said. Addison says the Steelers were one of the first teams to meet with him here at the Combine, which, they're not just going to blow Jordan Addison off and then go meet with him. And on top of that, they've met with a couple of guys, but a lot of players that you would have expected them to meet with at the wide receiver position, they did not. It seems like they're focused on those top 2 or 3 guys, and then everybody else, they're just maybe we don't need a wide receiver, which makes me think if Addison's sitting there, maybe they're thinking, yeah, that's our guy. We're just gonna act like he's not for right now.
Well, because we talked about this, I think, earlier in the week after Omar Khan spoke, but he said they're willing to trade up, they're willing to move up and be aggressive for the right guy, and it's starting to seem like they have 1 or 2 guys that are right for them. And Addison seems like one of those guys.
Do you think that they would move for Addison? Do you think I think better question. Do you think that fans would lose their mind if they moved up to get Jordan Addison?
I think they're going to lose their mind at any pick. Everyone's going to think, I feel like no matter who they get, someone's going to be like, oh, no, they should have picked this guy. We have all these other needs, you need to fill those first. I think they would be upset about it until they saw Kenny and Jordan thrown on the field together, playing together. But the other thing is, I don't think the Steelers really care about what the fans think. I kind of buy into the idea that they are going to swing for the fences on this guy, and I don't think they're going to use the 17th pick on him.
But I don't think he's there after 17.
Really?
There's a strong part of me that would be surprised if he was there at 17.
Really?
Yes.
I feel like he hasn't. I haven't seen, because I feel like before this event started, he was down towards the end of the first round, maybe into the second round.
No, I've heard rumbles of top 12, possibly the first wide receiver taken off the board, depending on who needs a wide receiver. I have not heard that he's there at 17 much, but I haven't heard that a lot of guys that the Steelers quote unquote have a shot at the first round, like Joey Porter Jr., who we're about to talk about, or Christian Gonzalez, or any of these guys, Brian Branch. I just don't think, I haven't heard that any of them are going to be there at 17. So, you never know. And on top of that, how many guys can go before the Pittsburgh Steelers? How many guys can be said that they're going before the Pittsburgh Steelers before you're okay, well, somebody's got to be there at 17. Right. There's no way that they're just running out of space. that everybody's going to be gone and they're not going to have a pick at all. Who's got to be there above Jordan Addison or with Jordan Addison, like for them to pick Jordan Addison? If it's Joey Porter Jr. and Jordan Addison, are they taking Joey Porter Jr. or are they taking Jordan Addison?
They're probably taking Porter, right? They probably need Porter more. I would argue.
Oh, they definitely need Porter more, in my opinion. But I think I agree. I think it's Joey Porter Jr. there. If it's Brian Branch and Jordan Addison, where are you going?
I'd probably go Addison.
I think you're going Addison too if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. If it's Paris Johnson or Jordan Addison, if you're the Steelers, who do you think they're going with?
I like Addison there too.
I think they're going Addison as well. I think they'd go Addison over a left tackle easy because they feel good about Dan Moore Jr. Should they feel good about Dan Moore Jr.? Probably not, but
that's a debate for another day.
That's not our decision. You know what I mean? Like we could sit here and say he's not good all day. If they think that he's good enough to start this season and they say, okay, well, Jordan Addison's an upgrade at wide receiver, well, they're going to go Jordan Addison. I just think that if he's got potential, he's going to end up with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the come get me thing was so strong. Like it wasn't planned into the quote. Like he didn't say it naturally. He finished his quote. He said it'd be a real easy transition. And then as he was like looking to go to the next question, he goes, "Come get me."
Right.
And then you're like, "Oh, okay. Okay."
Yeah, I was in that crowd and you could see everyone's eyes kind of light up. Like, especially, I was standing around a couple other Steelers people and you could see everyone's ears go, "Oh, did he just say that? Did we really just..." He's asking for them to come get him.
Yep.
And I think when Jordan left Pitt, when he was when he transferred to USC, you wondered how strong the connection was between him and the rest of his teammates there. But it's clear, and I think Kenny has also made that clear. He's made a couple appearances on podcasts and stuff where he could not be endorsing Jordan more strongly.
Do you think that they're going to listen? Like, do you think that when they call Kenny into the room, he's going to sit there and he's going to pound the table for Jordan Addison? And do you think they're just going to be like, you know what, man? Let's do it. Let's go get it. Let's go get your wide receiver.
I think Kenny's doing that. I think he is pounding the table in those meetings. Whether they listen or not, I don't know. It would strike me as a little odd for them to bring him in, listen to what I assume is a very impassioned pitch for Jordan, and ignore it.
I agree. I think that,
and I think Kenny would probably get pissed about that, wouldn't he?
I don't know if he'd get pissed. I don't think like they'd ignore him. I think they'd be very honest with him about, well, if Jordan's there, we'll consider it, but we need help at this position and we need help at this position. And those guys are probably over Jordan on our big board. And I think he'd understand that. I don't think Kenny strikes me as a guy that'd be like, no, that's stupid. Screw that. Go get my guy right now or I'm not playing. He'd probably be like, yeah, I get it. We need a cornerback. We need an inside linebacker, whatever. But I agree. I did not think that Jordan Addison was even remotely close to being drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers until he said those three words. And then I said, well, damn. He wants to be in Pittsburgh. Kenny wants him in Pittsburgh. That's 2 out of 3. That's the 2 out of the 3 people you need to end up at the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, if he's there. Would you trade up for Jordan Addison if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah, it always depends on the package. But, yeah, I would. Maybe I'll take that back because I just, of course, it depends on the package, but I wouldn't want to, give away that 30-second pick for him,
No, I wouldn't. And that's a perfect transition because I do want to talk about the cornerbacks.